on a major freak. So, calculating when that pesky war is gonna end. Um, I keep forgetting each time a war happens how to calculate it. So, without further ado, now I haven't been in a war for 2 weeks at least, but weirdly enough, one of my opened an alt and I got notifications and it said invalidates war. But I'm like, wait a minute. A, not in a war, and B, I freaking left the ally ship, like I was allied up with Exidium, for about 2 weeks total. Um, and I'm pretty sure I'm not listed as part of the allies because it's, and even if the war finishes, I won't be listed as an ally because you have to be an ally, active ally, when the war ends, right? But I'm not. But why am I getting the notification? It's really weird. Anyways, so their war started actively on the 4th, but it was declared on the 3rd, right? So the bill started on the 3rd, but the war in the war report says the 4th, which is really annoying. But yeah, war declared here, started there 24 hours later. So it was war deck there, on the at 1000 hours, right? So it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been 7 weeks of war, and the war ended, or war notification bill ending, happened 3.5 hours later. Now, if they're on automatic payment, it kind of is kind of there's a delay before the money comes out. Usually, anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour and a half. I usually figure an hour each time, right? On average. So it should be 7 hours old. Like it should be around 1700 that came out. Now, this says that it confirms that yes, it's gonna end a day early if you're following the war report when it started, in the week, right? But it also means there was a 4-week period when they went from automatic payment to manually paying the bill. Now, I'm not sure if that's possible. I'm pretty sure it is. Like, I'm pretty sure you just, like, automate pay settings, payable, rental bill, war bill, alliance bill. When you check this, all your war bills are supposed to be automatically paid, right? Like all my rents and everything are going to come out. Like there's no like, right? So everything's coming up automatic pay. So how do they manage it? I mean, Riot and Black Flag and Cheetah Holding have like 34 going at a time. So I don't understand how they can flip between automatic pay and manual pay. It must be all manual pay because you can't really. Could you just blanket automatic pay everything and then switch to manual pay at some point when you're winding down wars? I'm really not sure. Well, obviously, I wouldn't know about the meta, but I'm sure they have everybody's honor among thieves and all that. I'm sure they've they have some sort of a grapevine to get this information across about why they, how they do what they do, right? Because otherwise it would just be mental. But yeah, I mean, 18th, 20th. Is there any rhyme or reason to? Not really. I mean, it's kind of like all over the place. It's not like they pick a day to war deck things, right? At least it doesn't seem that way, right? And there would be no logical reason why you would want to, you know, separate these into, okay, automatic pay, and then we'll trigger manual pay for the other stuff. It kind of doesn't make sense, maybe. I don't know. Like, would they even have a use for that? I mean, the only reason you do that would be to wig out people guessing when the war's ending, right? Just to you know, psychological warfare on that side. You know, they're a bunch of griefers, of course they would, right? So it stands to reason if they started them all at the same day, right? That would mean you could check automatic pay on this stuff, and then say the manual stuff you're sick of, you could, you know, is everything ending? Like, the theory would be if I was Wardeck there, like, look at all this stuff. Like, is this all on manual pay? Right? You know, is it at some point do they decide? Well, they'll blanket Wardeck a whole bunch of people, and then after a while, they'll decide, okay, that bracket of days, that week is going to be manual paid, and we just, you know, if we're sick of it, we'll just, you know, just not pay the bill. I wonder how they deal with the notification spam of I get to just turn those off, right? Okay, guys, that's all right. Yeah, I mean, after a while, the local just gets to me. I wish we could ignore it. Do I even have this as a wish list? I should add that. Bloody hell. I cannot decipher it. Like, eventually, I'm sure it'll start to make some kind of sense once I start seeing patterns. But for now, it just seems like if you were manually paying it, right, you'd have to pay it before the bill came due, right? Otherwise, it's just gonna expire, right? So if you pay ahead of time, it's not going to change the billing date and hour. It's going to be exactly what it was. And sometimes I've seen wars end exactly when the hour that they were started, right? And that a sure sign they were manual. But sometimes they'll go automatic pay. So does that mean that sometimes they'll just go, oh, we're just going to automatically pay all the bills right now because we're happy with the way things are going. And then when they're sick of some wars, they'll go, all right, this is all right. We'll go manual pay and pay a whole bunch and just not pay the ones we want to drop, right? What's the like? It's so confusing. It's like I made the surrender video last week, and I've completely forgotten how it works. Um, I think that my alt corp on Singularity offered a surrender, the aggressor offered a surrender to the defender. The defender accepted the surrender offer, and the notification said the defender has surrendered to the aggressor. And I'm like, but the wording is just so atrocious, right? So it's, and it says, you know, there's a 2 week period where you can't war deck each other. And I'm pretty sure if you don't pay the bill, you've got a 2 week, right? but it doesn't say it here. Okay, I don't. Yeah, see there. Yeah, see there. But do like, what is the advantage of doing this instead of just offering a surrender for 0? And the defenders are like, hell yeah, we don't win in war anymore. We'll do it right then. So I'm sure there's a 2 week. There has to be, like, I'm so sick of CCPs. Just all right. Hopefully, I'm talking to the right mic. Yep, the mic's on. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Okay, so oh god, how to word it right? War deck support, right? It's got to be a support. There it is. Okay, wars. All right, so I'll guarantee you right now they probably don't even have any wording about the billing date, including the 2 week thing, right? I'm just being cynical. Son of a bit. Okay, wait. You have okay. So if they lose their war HQ, what? But what? But oh my god! No wonder it's so confusing. Oh my god, CCP, you're idiots. So it's like, if the war ends for any other way, except. What the? You know, it just breeds confusion. So that is the reason that wherefore just before it split up into various splinter groups, his alts, and joined Riot and Black Flag, just before that I saw that wherefore had wardecked, and it just bill must have expired with. No, I think didn't they? Don't they always take out his HQ? Anyways, whatever. So it must have expired, and I saw him wardeck the same like Ivy League the next day. I'm like, how the hell did he do that exploit? So that's always been on the back burner of my mind, going, what if it's not an exploit? So yeah, I mean, look. I mean, it says surrendering, loss of war HQ, and war costs, and it goes surrendering 2 weeks, loss of HQ 2 weeks. But this says any other reason, it's you can declare again immediately, and you're like, so does that include this and this with the 2 weeks? Is these two are the exceptions? Uh, Wow, CCP. This is why I'm so flabbergasted when they came out with their mobile observatory. And they flat out said it anywhere in the system, it's decloaked after 15 minutes. And I was like, wow, it's the most simplest freaking mechanic I've ever seen you guys code and document. It's like, it's perfectly clear, and the documentation is perfectly clear. And you're like, that's so surreal. So theoretically, I can't trust this at all. I'll have to test it. But the assumption is that by not paying your bill on time means that the war ends, but you can start it at any time. But the only time I've ever seen this happen almost immediately is that Wherefore against Ivy League, that one time, and then he just split up into different entities and joined the bigger boys, right? Lol, bigger babies. All right, so I definitely need to test this on Singularity. Of course, I've already freaking war decked the hell out of all my alt corps, so I need to wait a while till I can do it because I actually surrendered. Yeah, that's the only thing I can. The only reason I can think of. These people go through all this trouble to, to automatically pay and then go back to manual pay, not pay certain bills, blah 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 blah. Because they could manually pay that, and as soon as the retraction is given notification, they can just hit automatic pay and go back to business as usual, right? And this means they can war deck at any time, but you never see that happen because all these high sec pirates have like literal rolodexes. Probably, well, what am I saying? Rolodexes haven't been in fashion for a very long time. But yeah, figurative Rolodexes of corpse that they have targeted in the past, and but 6 months later they'll war deck you again. Not because you did anything; it's just because you're next in the list, and they war deck you again. Um, so yeah, I mean that is the only reason I can think of that you aren't just war decked a few days later, because that wouldn't make sense, right? Because if they're bored of you, they're going to be bored. They'll just move on to the next corp in the list, right? So like, that's the logical reason. I mean, why would they want to pay? Well, 100 million is peanuts to these idiots. I'm referring to both CCP and Isaac Wardeckers, right? The conflict drivers, the content creators, the what the hell did they used to use? It was not an unintended. It was not spontaneous. It was it was just the most ludicrous, tongue twisting bullshit ever. It was God, I can't remember it. It was some kind of content creation thing. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. God, I'm so glad I forgot it. Oh, it was such a cloyingly insipid word combo that CCP was so proud of talking about the community contributing to it's just on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna let sleeping dogs lie and walk away from that one. Yeah. Um, yeah, that's I just okay. So your bill, your war will end on the day of the world war bill being created, except if they're playing Silly Bugger and have war decked you just like at 2200 hours and put it automatic pay, and it gets delayed an hour, and then all of a sudden your war will end on the next day, which can trip a lot of people out. And it probably is the source of me getting confused about whether the war deck ends on, you know, the 4th, or, you know, on the Friday, you know, as opposed to when the war was declared, right? So it's very tricky. And there's no allies. And I have no idea why I got that. It was welcome. It's like, yay, they don't have the war anymore. They'll get war decked in 6 months. Or 4 months or something like that. So I think I've blabbed enough. I think I've covered everything I can. It's so confusing. I'll probably have to rewatch this video when I forget how it works again. It's so easy to get confused, right? Because the confusing lack of and the freaking horrendous documentation, as per usual. Yeah, I think the mobile observatory was the exception that proves the rule, right? Lol. Anyways, I'll shut up now.